Welcome back to final installment of our HTML course. In this video, we will be looking at radio buttons, cards, forms and input. So without wasting much time, let's directly jump into the code and look everything one by one. Online booking is a convenient way to book things, whether it's tickets or accommodation. To make the process easier for their customers by adding a table booking system to their website. To achieve this, an HTML form with radio buttons is an ideal solution. The form needs to allow customers to select the table size and location. This is done by creating two field set elements, one for table size and one for location. Radio buttons are used to provide limited options and set up groups where only one option can be selected. The three different table sizes, 2-person, 4-person, and 6-person tables are added using three input elements with the type attribute set to radio and the value attribute set to the corresponding size. To ensure the correct grouping, the name attribute is set to match the ID attribute of the field set element. The checked attribute is added to the 4-person table input element to set it as the default option. For the table location, two input elements with the type attribute set to radio are added, one for indoors and one for outdoors. The name attribute is set to match the ID attribute of the second field set element, and the checked attribute is added to the indoor option to set it as the default. To improve the user experience on mobile devices, the input elements and text are grouped using the label element. This allows the user to select the option by clicking on the text rather than the small button element. Now let's create cards for our menu, and to create a menu card in our website, over here we have a section with the ID menu. Inside this section, we have an H2 heading with the text Our Menu. This heading serves as the title for the menu section, and it's written using the H2 element in HTML. Next, we have a div with the class menu container. This div contains all the menu items we want to display. Each menu item is wrapped in a div with the class menu item. We start with an image of the appetizers plate, with the alt attribute set to appetizers. This is important for accessibility purposes, as it provides an alternative text description of the image for users who may not be able to see it. The image is followed by a div with the class menu item info. This div contains the name, description, and price of each appetizer. Each appetizer is represented by a list item with a span for the name and another span for the price. All of the menu items are contained within an unordered list, which is represented by the ol element in HTML. And that's how you can create a menu section for a website using HTML and CSS. By following this example, you can customize the menu items to fit your restaurant's offerings and style. Now, we just have to copy this few more time. Check this out, we have our menu cards ready. If you want to see its CSS, then just pause the video and go through. As you can see, this code includes a section with a container for our About Us information. Within the container, we have a heading that reads About Us, and a row with two columns, one for an image and one for text. The image column features a picture of a background. This could be changed to any image of your choice. And the text column features a paragraph of lorem ipsum text. This is placeholder text that you would replace with your own information about your website or business. Now, let's take a closer look at the code and how we can customize it. For example, to change the image, you would replace the URL in the src attribute with the URL for your own image. And to change the text, you would simply replace the lorem ipsum text with your own About Us information. So there you have it. That's the HTML code for an About Us section, and how you can customize it for your own website. Forms are an important aspect of web development. They allow users to input data, which is then used for various purposes, such as creating an account or placing an order. However, it's crucial to ensure that the user input is valid and meets the required standards. For example, let's say you are building a fitness app that tracks user progress. If a user accidentally enters the wrong weight or height, the app will give them inaccurate results, leading to a bad user experience. To avoid this, there are two methods of form validation: client-side validation and server-side validation. Client-side validation checks for errors in real time, as soon as the user types in the data. This is done using JavaScript or the web browser, which instantly provides feedback to the user. For example, you can use the number input type to ensure that users only enter numerical values for their weight and height. If they enter a non-numeric value, the web browser will display an error message telling them that the input is invalid. On the other hand, server-side validation checks for errors after the data has been submitted to the server. This is a more secure method because it prevents malicious users from submitting invalid data to the server. For example, you can check if the user's weight and height fall within a valid range or if they have entered a realistic date for their workout log. If the data doesn't meet the required standards, the server will reject it and send an error message to the user. Most websites use both client-side and server-side validation to ensure data integrity and provide a good user experience. Form validation is a crucial part of web development that helps to ensure the accuracy and reliability of user input. Now let's look at this code. We have a form element that wraps the entire form. Inside the form, we have 4 input fields and a submit button. The first input is for the username, and we have used the label element to provide a label for this input. We have also set the for attribute of the label to match the ID attribute of the input, which creates a link between the label and the input. We have done the same for the other inputs, which are for the user's email, password, and password confirmation. To make sure that the user enters valid data into these inputs, we have used the required attribute, which ensures that the user must fill in the input before submitting the form. We have also set the type attribute of the email input to email, which will validate that the user enters a valid email address. And there you have it, a simple but effective sign-up form using HTML and CSS. You can use this code as a starting point for your own form and customize it to match your own design. Don't forget to add some JavaScript or server-side code to handle the form submission and create a new user in your database. Let's add a contact form using the knowledge we gain over here. Over here we have Contact Us section, which includes a container with a heading that reads Contact Us, and a form for users to submit their name, email, and message. The form includes fields for name, email, and message, and a button to submit the form. In the footer, we have a container with 3 sections: contact information, social media links, and an address. The contact information includes an email address and phone number. The social media links include icons for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And the address section includes the restaurant's address. At the bottom of the footer, we have a copyright notice. For this website, this is basic CSS, which we have used over here. And finally, our website looks something like this. But don't stop there. It's time for you to put your skills to the test and build your very own basic website. We hope this HTML course has been both helpful and easy to follow. If you found it valuable, please consider supporting our channel by subscribing and sharing with others. We look forward to bringing you more informative content in our next video. Thanks for watching.